Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, police positions and pay take center stage at a Seadrift budget workshop.
False school threat reports lead to student arrests in Victoria. The sheriff's urgent warning to families.
And relief is coming for drivers at a crowded North Navarro intersection. The city's plan to improve traffic safety.
We're looking at 90-degree temperatures for tomorrow, but the question is, when will we finally get out of the 90s? We'll try and take a look at that coming up in a moment.
And Tuesday night volleyball action takes over the Crossroads. We'll highlight some of tonight's action later on.
You're watching 25 News Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shauna Curry.
And I'm Don Brubaker. Several Victoria ISD students are facing serious consequences this school year for making false reports of campus threats. Just yesterday, Victoria County deputies arrested 3 students, 2 at Howell Middle School and 1 at East High School, as well as 2 elementary students last week. Sheriff Justin Marr tells 25 News Now his department has a zero tolerance policy for these incidents and is urging parents to talk with their children about the seriousness of making false threats.
We don't have the luxury of taking it for granted. We're gonna enforce the law and keep everybody there safe, and we want them to feel safe. The parents need to understand they need to talk to their kids and, you know, explain to them the consequences. There will be consequences for their actions. Kids, there's no joking. That's not going to get you out of it. If the threat has been made or the alarming statement causes a reaction, action will be taken.
Sheriff Marr says the district cannot afford leniency for any kind of threat, emphasizing the importance of student safety in Victoria campuses. And he does want students to report true concerns. Sheriff Marr says students who make reports in good faith will not be penalized. The Edna Police Department says it's investigating concerns about possible misuse of booster funds. The case is now with the Jackson County District Attorney's Office. Chief Kenny Pyle says details cannot be released yet to protect the investigation, but stresses all allegations are being taken seriously and handled based on evidence, not relationships or status. He also reminds the community no one is above the law. Anyone with credible information is urged to contact Edna Police or the DA's office. This brings us to the viewer poll of the night. Who should be in charge of managing booster funds? The voters are saying way out in front, 62% independent auditors, a tight race for second place. Booster Club leaders at 19%, school administrators at 18%. The viewers talk. Paula says auditors should control it. Sometimes money gets appropriated in wrong areas, unquote. We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we thank you for voting.
A trial date is set for a man accused of killing his mother. Trayvon Martinez was first ruled incompetent to stand trial last year because of mental illness, but doctors in May found him competent after treatment at a state facility. The 21-year-old is accused of murder after police say an SUV crashed on East Water Street last July. Then officers found his mother inside the vehicle with life-threatening injuries. She later died. Martinez is set to return to court February 18th for a pretrial hearing, with the trial scheduled to begin March 2nd. Quite a crowd gathered tonight at Holy Family Catholic Church in Victoria to honor those who keep us safe each day. In what has become a tradition, the Holy Family Catholic Church Knights of Columbus members hosted a dinner complete with music and fellowship to honor all first responders. Organizers say giving back to all public servants is truly an honor.
Where we invite our public servants in the community, it's for everyone from fire to police to EMS to first responders to our mayor, our judges, even our probation officers. We invite all of them to this dinner so that we can honor them and what they do for our community.
This is the 38th annual Public Servants Appreciation Dinner. Sheriff Justin Marr was tonight's keynote speaker. Time now to check on our weather, and I love it in the morning. I think it was actually yesterday morning I walked out and the sky was pink. It felt cool and comfortable.
And I'm liking it, Mac, that you're giving us temperatures to look for in the 80s.
Yeah, well, that's a cooling trend for us. You know? We're trying to get out of the 90s, and we're right here very close to that. Today we did top out at 91, but as we get into next week, which is the beginning of fall, I hope to see some mid-80s here and there. Today, most of the moisture was right along the immediate coastline, and we did have some clouds and one or two little bitty showers. Nothing significant, but when do we get to the 80s in terms of temperatures? We'll talk about that coming up a little bit later on. Back to you.
Police department positions and pay were the big focus at Seadrift's budget workshop tonight. City leaders clarified that while the police clerk salary looks lower, it is paired with the municipal court clerk job, so the total pay stays about the same. Mayor Pro Tem Alyssa Jarvis also explained why the city is considering removing a patrol deputy spot, saying they're aiming for a role with more responsibility. Part of that funding would boost the lieutenant's salary, while the rest would go toward city improvements. A new traffic light is coming to North Navarro at tonight's Victoria City Council meeting. Council approved an agreement with TxDOT to install a new traffic light at Broadmoor and Navarro. That's near Kohl's and Sam's Club. TxDOT says the intersection needs one based on a traffic study this summer. The city will put in $120,000 toward the design and setup, while TxDOT covers the bulk of construction, about $540,000. The project ties in with plans to widen Broadmoor to 3 lanes, helping with the growing retail area. The construction is expected to wrap up by fall of 2027. As a new road project gets underway in Victoria, one local resident is upset with the look of the road, calling it a mess. Patrick Hathaway says there were several workers in the area recently near McCrite, close to Riverside Park. The city's project on Vine Street will rebuild the road from McCrite to Mockingbird. Crews will remove the old surface, strengthen the base, lay a support grid, add a new layer of limestone, seal it, then put down a fresh layer of asphalt. Hathaway says the road is deteriorating and the asphalt is breaking through the road.
At this point, how long is this going to become a huge pothole and damage a vehicle? Just get it fixed. It's a danger when it's not fixed. Like I said.
In addition to the complete reconstruction of Vine Street from McCrite to Mockingbird, the city will put a fresh overlay on the road from McCrite to Red River.
Potholes are more than a nuisance. The cracks and craters can damage vehicles, drain wallets, and frustrate drivers. Today we found these at Nimitz and Colorado Streets. Show us the pothole or potholes that are putting a bump in your commute. Is it causing issues for your vehicle or just an eyesore? We want to know. Email us at staff@crossroadstoday.com.
An Indiana man has been arrested in connection to last week's lockdown at the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis. Prosecutors say 23-year-old Jackson Fleming is accused of sending an online threat that spread on social media. He now faces a federal charge of transmitting a threat across state lines, punishable by up to 5 years in prison. The lockdown turned chaotic when a midshipman mistook a security officer for a threat and opened fire. The midshipman was treated and released, and the officer had only minor injuries. Congress is taking action to combat crime in Washington, D.C. The Republican-controlled House passed 2 D.C. crime bills today, those bills targeting juvenile crime. One bill would lower the age a juvenile can be tried as an adult for certain violent crimes from 16 to 14. Another bill would require the D.C. Attorney General to publish juvenile crime statistics on a public website. The House also is considering other measures to deal with crime in the city. It comes after President Trump deployed the National Guard to D.C. to help local police fight crime.
State Representative District 30 A.J. Louderback announced today he is running for re-election. Louderback was first elected in 2024. He previously served 4 terms as Jackson County Sheriff. In a statement, Louderback said he has received endorsements from President Trump and Governor Greg Abbott. Louderback successfully sponsored legislation transferring the University of Houston-Victoria into the Texas A&M system. Louderback was also on the House Disaster Preparedness Select Committee after the deadly Hill Country floods.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, a heated hearing on Capitol Hill, how the FBI director clashed with senators.
Also ahead, a high-profile CDC testimony is coming Wednesday, why it could spark new questions. An update now on the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The suspect, Tyler Robinson, made his first appearance before in a Utah courtroom.
It's the first time he's been seen by the public since his arrest. ABC's Alex Stone takes us inside that hearing and describes the text messages between the suspect and his roommate.
Could you state your name?
Tyler James Robinson.
Tyler Robinson, accused of gunning down Charlie Kirk, appearing in a Utah courtroom via video link for the first time since his arrest, nodding his head slightly as prosecutors said they would seek the death penalty. The 22-year-old charged with a slew of offenses including aggravated murder, witness tampering, and commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child. The conservative influencer killed by a single gunshot while speaking at Utah Valley University last week. Prior to the hearing, Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray outlining the case against Robinson.
After shooting Mr. Kirk, Robinson hid the gun, discarded the clothing he wore when he fired the rifle, and told his roommate to delete incriminating text messages and not talk to police.
Gray adding Robinson disliked Kirk and texted his roommate saying, "I had enough of his hatred," and had a note in his home saying, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and I'm going to take it." It comes as we learn the suspect's mother told authorities she recognized her son from the surveillance images, and then she went to her husband. Prosecutors say the parents convinced him to turn himself in and then drove him to the sheriff's station themselves. Robinson's mother also describing a change in her son.
Over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views.
That roommate who shared those text messages with police is cooperating right now. Investigators are interviewing friends and family members of the suspect to better understand how and why it unfolded. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The man first thought to be the shooter at the Charlie Kirk rally is now charged, but not for firing the gun. Police say George Zinn falsely claimed that he was the gunman to stall officers and help the real shooter get away. While in custody, investigators also found inappropriate photos of children on his phone. He is now facing charges for obstruction and sexual exploitation of a minor. FBI Director Kash Patel defiant on Capitol Hill today, telling lawmakers he isn't going anywhere. During a Senate hearing, Patel was questioned on topics ranging from Charlie Kirk's murder investigation to the Jeffrey Epstein scandal.
Brian Todd has a recap of the hearing.
I'm not going anywhere. If you want to criticize my 16 years of service, please bring it on.
A defiant Kash Patel defending his job so far as FBI director. The most contentious moments came just after Democratic Senator Cory Booker accused Patel of making the country less safe, citing Patel's firing of senior FBI officials and his significant misstep in the early hours of the Charlie Kirk investigation.
You claim that you have a suspect in a serious assassination. Whoops, then you don't have a suspect. But here's the thing, Mr. Patel. I think you're not going to be around long.
That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my time.
I follow you on your social media posts that tear this country apart.
To address your falsehoods.
You can try all you want
in this country.
to not take responsibility for what you have said. Sir, you're making a mockery of this committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over. The people of New Jersey tell me what my time is. You can't lecture me.
You can tell me my time's over.
You may be the charge of the
I'm not going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman.
Not afraid of you.
Earlier, the committee's top Democrat slammed Patel for the director's initial claim that the subject was in custody in the Kirk investigation, then having to walk that back.
Mr. Patel was so anxious to take credit for finding Mr. Kirk's assassin that he violated one of the basics of effective law enforcement. At critical stages of an investigation, shut up and let the professionals do their job.
Patel later admitted he could have been more careful with his wording about the subject who was being questioned, but said he was trying to be transparent. Republican senators repeatedly defended Patel.
I've seen no reason for the armchair quarterbacks to be criticizing his performance. I think it's been commendable. It took roughly 33 hours to arrest the Charlie Kirk killer.
While outgoing Republican Senator Thom Tillis ended the hearing on a different tone.
Within 24 hours of Mr. Kirk's shooting, we had the guy that does the podcast for the War Room and another guy who's denied the Sandy Hook shootings say we're at war. There are people out here on our side of the aisle that still need to look in the mirror.
The former director of the CDC is expected to testify Wednesday. Dr. Susan Monarez will go before a Senate Committee on Health to answer questions about the agency and Health Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Her reported prepared testimony shows Monarez will share details about what she says is RFK Jr.'s push to put politics before public health, including claims that Kennedy required all CDC policy and personnel decisions to be cleared by political staff.
New data finds traffic fatalities are down by more than 8% this year. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration released early estimates for the first half of 2025, which found just over 17,000 people lost their lives in car accidents between January and June. That is down from more than 18,600 in the same time period last year. The decline happened even with more miles traveled on U.S. roadways this year.
When it comes to your heartbeat, rhythm matters.
With more, here's ABC's Melissa Adon.
Atrial fibrillation, or AFib, is the most common type of irregular heart rhythm, affecting more than 10 million Americans. AFib significantly raises the risk of stroke, heart failure, dementia, and even death. Symptoms can include a racing heartbeat, shortness of breath, or tiredness. But for many people, AFib can go unnoticed. Doctors say early diagnosis and treatment is crucial. If you have AFib, talk to your doctor. If you're unsure, ask for an ECG, a simple test that records the heart's electrical signals to look for an irregular rhythm. Ask your doctor about stroke prevention, benefits versus risks of anticoagulant meds, and when rhythm-controlling drugs or ablation procedure is necessary. Lifestyle changes matter too. Weight loss, sleep apnea, blood pressure control can make a big difference by easing strain on the heart, reducing the number of AFib episodes, and improving how well medical treatments work. With this Medical Minute, I'm Melissa Adon.
Well, good afternoon, or rather good evening, everybody. We're looking at 74 degrees out there. The evenings are going to be fairly pleasant, so are the mornings, but daytimes we're still in the 90s. We got up to 91 today, which is our seasonal average for this time of year. I'm looking for maybe 7 to 10 days when the temperatures come below 90 degrees. Wouldn't that be nice? We'll talk about that coming up after this. Well, good evening, everyone. Want to thank our friend Judy Herman, who sent us this photo of her bird feeder with all the hummingbirds all over the place. I counted 12 of them right there. Now, if you take 12 on one feeder and you multiply by everybody at the crossroads, there's a whole lot of hummingbirds passing through town. Of course, they're all migrating right about now from North America to Central America, where they spend the winter. But the trick is you got to have a really good camera to catch their wings in stop motion. Also, you've got to get beautiful lighting to get the beautiful feathers, and naming them is the hard part, because then there's the ruby-throated hummingbird and there's all kinds of names. So it's been kind of fun, and thanks for folks for sending in the pictures. If you send them in, I'll keep putting them up. We had very few little showers around the area today. I'll show you that in a moment. We look at the bigger picture on Texas, and it's fairly quiet across the entire state, but you look out to the west coast and we see something interesting. These are the remnants of what used to be Mario. The remnants are now beginning to move into the desert southwest, and places like Tucson and Phoenix are going to get some heavy rain from that tropical system remnants. Okay, the system fell apart, but the moisture is still in the atmosphere, and it's going to be giving them heavy rain. Will it get into West Texas? I don't think so. I think it's all going to go stream up and get caught up in this frontal system that is basically moving eastbound. So this is not a front that'll come this way. It's going that way. Now, this one out here in the Pacific Northwest, that is a monster winter storm. You can see all the little lines here. It's a deep low. That's coming ashore, and hopefully that will get close enough to Texas to give us a little bit of a break in the temperature. So we're going to be watching for that. Here we are today. There's the few little showers that popped up. The most prolific was probably north of the city. You're going to see it right here. And it went from northern Victoria all the way to Cuero, and then fell apart right about there. So nothing really exciting for today. We look at the Gulf of Mexico, and you can see there is quite a bit of shower activity over Cuba. However, there's no organized activity there. There is what we think will be Tropical Storm Gabrielle in the next 48 hours right here. Now, the storm, fortunately, will be moving in this pattern, which will miss the Lesser Antilles, and then as it gets to Bermuda, that's going to be very close, so they're going to have to watch it. There's another one behind that that's probably going to organize, but that's a long way off and not as strong as that first one. Here is what we were talking about, Mario falling apart. You can see all that moisture spreading up into Baja, eventually in the desert southwest, and it looks like it's already raining there along the U.S. border. So I'm figuring anybody going out I-10, you're going to run into that. Well, for those of us that are, getting up early and going out there with the puppy dogs, got Got a beautiful morning coming up, looking for sunny skies and about 68 to 70 degrees. That's not bad at all. Daytimes, however, because of the abundant sunshine, still getting us into the low 90s. In the next couple of days, we're going to start seeing more cloud cover and a little bit of a looser environment because, you can see this, these are the frontal systems that are beginning to move in to the state. They're not going to make it down here, but at least they're moving, and that's a good sign. 93 tomorrow in Port Lavaca. In Cuero, you're looking at 94. As we see right about here, we're going to slowly increase our rain chance, and our temperature will slowly be dropping. Monday is the actual beginning of fall, so that's when, you know, hopefully we'll put the sweaters on and start drinking spiced pumpkin lattes. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that, put Crossroads a day on your phone. And Mr. Max is ready to talk about football game of the week.
Yeah, very unique choice there, Mac, I would say, getting into the fall season with your option. But after the break, though, I'm going to talk about the Cuero Gobblers as they're battling Corpus Christi Miller Buccaneers out there in Week 4. I'll talk about this matchup next in sports. Another great night of Tuesday night volleyball action. So first we're going to start with the Battle of Victoria with Victoria East traveling over Victoria West, and both of these teams heading 2-0 in district play. And again, for West, top middle hitter as well, Emily Parker was back there from injury there for the first time tonight. And guess what? It was a big help because West would get a big 3-set victory as she would have 10 kills tonight, along with Isabella Bazel's 18 kills to add on. And Christian Leishner helped on the defensive side, having 13 digs. Now for East in the loss, they still got big production from Camry King, who had 8 kills and 14 digs, and Addison Temple helped out, having 12 digs. And then in the game as well. And after the game, I talked with 3 of the stars from West, kind of mentioned all 3, in Leishner, Bazel, and Parker, about what were the keys for tonight's victory and how Parker kind of felt getting back from injury for her first game tonight.
Was on fire tonight. We all did really good, and our offense as well. But both of them were just on. So you put that together, it just runs a great play.
At the beginning of this game, last home game as our biggest rival as a senior, so I told the team, let's go out, let's show out, let's win this, and let's do it for our seniors.
Adrenaline was obviously up, but I mean, I came in, as soon as I got the injury, I came in with the goal, I'm going to be back by the East versus West game. That was just my big goal, and I mean, I pushed through it. I was so stoked to play this game.
And you could tell there from, again, Parker's reaction. She was happy to, again, get back there from injury. Also, shout out, it was Bella's birthday as well. So she also got, again, big victory on her birthday as well. Happy birthday out there to Bella. And guess what? This team travels out to Thomas High School. They're on the road this Friday. They're at 4:30 p.m. Now over to Goliad, where they faced a ranked Lavernia Bears team there tonight. And this one go out to a 5th setter where Goliad would prevail. They're winning 3-2. And Maven Wunsch had 21 kills, going along with Addison Andrews 19. And Carolyn Youngblood had 38 digs there in their victory. They face the Cuero Gobblers to finish off pre-district play there this Friday. And finally, speaking of Cuero, they traveled out to LaGrange there tonight and lost there in 3 sets, 25-18, 25-7, and 27-25. They again, like I mentioned, will go to Goliad this Friday at 4:30 p.m. Now the Cuero volleyball team didn't get the reaction they wanted to, but the football team looks to keep their winning ways going as they face Corpus Christi Miller here this Friday. And again, for Cuero, they're currently number 7 in Dave Campbell's Texas high school football rankings. And they're facing a Miller Buccaneers team who's 0-3 right now, has lost to Veterans Memorial, Seguin, and then last week the very top-ranked 6A team in DeSoto, 77-7. And the Bucks, they're hoping David James and Daryl Donaldson can make some noise there for this week for Cuero. They hope that lethal connection with quarterback Jackson Marie and wide receiver Walker Dietz can keep going, and their defense can make some plays. This game will start at 7 p.m. at Buccaneers Stadium in Corpus. Now over to another enticing Week 4 matchup with the Needville Blue Jays traveling to face a 3-0 El Campo Rice Birds team. And El Campo defeated the Doles Vikings last week 58-0. And their running back Jeremy Soto had 12 carries, 191 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And the Rice Birds hoping to rely on the running game there because they only had 40 total passing yards last week. And they're hoping that could be the winning formula, again, to keep that recent momentum going because the Blue Jays did defeat the Columbus Cardinals last week 17-13. This game will also start at 7 p.m. at Rice Bird Stadium. And that's going to do it here in sports. Don, Shauna, back to you.
Max, thank you, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, a Vietnam-era aircraft takes to the sky again, how its move turns into a powerful tribute.
Stay up and you'll be as handsome as Rob Lowe. Did Arnold give a speech at the wedding?
I mean, you know,
of course.
It's good to see everybody here. And, you know, it's a wonderful day.
If you're in New York City this fall, you need to pivot and head to Times Square. A new chance for Friends fans to hang out just like Joey, Phoebe, and the gang. The Central Perk Coffee House is coming to New York's Times Square. It's the second real-life version of the iconic sitcom spot after the popular Boston location. This is set to open in the fall, so you can watch all the leaves change along with it. The new Central Perk will be a contemporary take on the hot spot, but with authentic touches like the big orange sofa to evoke the spirit of the original.
Wow.
We pivot to this. The countdown begins. As of today, there are 100 days until Christmas. So there's time to get a head start in the holiday. Among those marking the 100-day mark, Walmart released its 2025 top toys list. The list of 50 of the hottest toys of the year aims to help parents get a head start on holiday shopping. Meanwhile, Macy's has unveiled its top 100 holiday gifts. It will also offer a new Santa National Tour experience. It's like a concert tour, you know.
Yeah.
Santa, you can hear Santa the reindeer, yeah, and the all the elves.
Barely getting the fall decorations out, the Halloween stuff, you know, all together, and we're already thinking about
There's some people that put
Christmas.
the Christmas decorations up really early. Let's just
It'll
say.
be
my gosh, yes.
It'll be here before we know it, and it'll be gone before we know it. So we're looking forward to it. Well, folks, so we continue, unfortunately, not feeling so much like fall just yet. We're looking at 93 for tomorrow, and hopefully by the weekend we'll see more clouds and a few little showers, and that'll help knock the temperature down a tad. Your mornings will be very pleasant, but your daytimes will be fairly comfortable, but still in the 90s.
A Vietnam-era aircraft got quite the ride in Nebraska, lifted by helicopter to its new home at South Sioux City's Freedom Park. The A-7 Corsair had sat for decades at Martin Airfield, but when the property sold last year, it was sent off for restoration. After months of sanding and repairs, the jet is looking sharp again. Now it is back on display, honoring service members at its new spot in Siouxland Freedom Park. That's hard to say. So pretty neat to see that all restored. So Thank you for joining us tonight.
25 News Now, Sunrise 5 a.m. Jimmy Kimmel Live starts now.